Welcome back to Peace, Love and Tarot. This reading is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Rising. And Saggy, this is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for March 23rd to the 29th. This week we have some oracle cards for you. We have Inner Temple and we have Sisterhood of the Rose. I'm going to come to those at the end. We have the Lovers, Death, the World, Justice, Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. So Saggy, obviously we have some huge energies here with Death, the World and Justice. I mean, this is final completion. Final karmic completion, you know, it's time for justice to be served and that slate to be cleared so that you can move on to lay new foundations, new plans. You know, it could be in love, it doesn't have to be because the lovers are there. This is some kind of very deep decision around a matter of the heart that needs to be made in order to, you know, move you towards a greater level of emotional fulfillment than what you have been feeling in your current situation. So let's go to the tarot. Now, I'm going to start in the recent past here with the Eight of Cups, and that came out together with the Seven of Wands. Yeah, so we can see that you've been in a situation in your recent past that has not been emotionally fulfilling for you, and I really feel that you've persevered with that situation, and it could have been for some time. Now, it's a general reading, guys, so like I said, you'll know what it is for you. It's not specific here in the cards, but it could be in love and romance. It could be on the work front. It could be in a friendship group or family situation as well. But, you know, I really feel that you've tried to be persistent, be consistent and resilient in this situation, but there's only so much fighting for something you can do when it just kind of starts to wear down your own energy. And, you know, if you're in fight or flight all the time as well and not in rest and digest, that can really impact your health, your immunity and all of those things as well. And sometimes, you know, things seem right when you're kind of in the flow of life and they don't feel like you have to put in so much energy and hard work. And, you know, sometimes when you feel like you have to fight for something and push all the time, you need to question whether that situation is actually right for you. And I think you've been doing that intuitively. You know, you've known that the reason why you might have kept on coming up against a kind of a sensation of conflict, whether it's internal or external in the situation, is because you're just unfulfilled, and that could have led you to being argumentative with the other parties, or, you know, niggling at each other, that kind of energy. So, I mean, you've obviously had a certain amount of emotional fulfillment in that situation, which is why you probably hung in there for as long as you did. But ultimately, you knew that there was a fundamental piece missing. You know, it's like doing a jigsaw puzzle and getting down to those last couple of bits and they're lost and you can never complete the picture. So I think you're really on the quest of moving on and trying to find those last cups. You know, we've got 8 cups here, but there's 9 and 10 of cups to, you know, to achieve, where you can be fully, you know, full of joy, love and harmony and live your best life. So I feel like in the recent past, you already started to retract your energy from the situation and turn your back on it. And I really feel that it's after this week, once all this kind of comes to final completion, that you're really going to start moving towards such a greater sense of wish fulfillment and joy and happiness for yourself. Because we have the Death card here this week, which is saying that it is really time for that slate to be cleared. You know, death comes in when something needs to end, to pass, and it does that because it's trying to bring you to something better. It's trying to bring in a new beginning, but, you know, like any new beginning, it's often preceded by an ending, because often the area that the new beginning is in is already occupied. That space is already occupied by the previous thing. So, for example, it could be the universe really wants to bring you that soulmate that you might be able to start a family with, or you know, build your empire with, but you might be with somebody who is just not quite right for you. You could say the same about work. You know, maybe you've got a deeper calling. There's something else that you're supposed to be doing, but you're sort of in an either dead-end job or a job that maybe you get a great paycheck, but you aren't passionate about it, or you might have a dream to serve others and you're really just, you know, serving the corporate machine, something like that. So there's nothing more certain than the cycle of death and rebirth, guys, and we ride that cycle in all areas of our lives continuously. you know, where sometimes we're starting a new relationship and we're in the excitement, we're in the spring and summer of it, and then, you know, sometimes more likely than not these days, we get into that autumn and winter where that's shutting down, and you know, we've maybe achieved the karmic contract that we need to, and it's time for us to move on to a new, you know, a new soulmate, to learn new lessons, that kind of thing. Death is the card of transformation, because it's this process that's truly transformative, because with each cycle we learn, we evolve, we grow, and we transition. That's why death has the flag or the flower of spiritual or alchemical transformation here. And you know, there is the sun peeking on the horizon here, and that's just the reminder that there is a new path, a new dawn, a new day just waiting behind this ending. And we really just need to surrender to the death energy, because the more we hold on, you know, that's when we end up in this energy here where we're sort of pushing uphill and we're really fighting something, and we're needing to use all of our persistence and resilience just to keep a situation going, to keep it alive. So the universe says it's time to let this one go. And this is where it comes to a head, guys. We've got Justice and the Lovers. Look at this. So guys, justice comes into a spread when a fair and just modification needs to happen in a situation in order to bring those universal scales back into balance. Now, this is about, you know, making wrongs right. It can be about, you know, that karmic adjustment. Some of you might have had a hard run in the situation, and if so, you know, the universal balance sheet always adds up. So now it's time for those scales to tip, to even up, to balance. Justice is about bringing a sense of victory to a situation where you might have been out of power, or you know, somebody may have been keeping your victory from you in some sense. Justice can also, you know, mean that there could be some kind of legal proceedings that need to happen, or maybe you need to seek legal advice. If it's a workplace situation, you might need to get your contract out, find out what the process is in order to resign from a job, to leave a job, maybe to dispute something in the workplace. Could be property agreements. Some of you might need to move out of a home, gain a new home, sell a home, buy a home. Or of course there's always the, you know, legal separation and divorce as well, for some people. Now we have this joined with the Lovers, and yeah, this could indicate that it's in romance for some of you, but before the Lovers was really just a, you know, a card where we saw it and gone, oh, soulmate, twin flame. It indicated a decision, a huge decision around matters of the heart. So obviously, you know, the work we do in the world it is very dear to us a lot of the time, or at least very important to us. It provides the money that we use to sustain ourselves and our families. We spend, you know, 30 or 40 hours a week working. So it can also be in that realm, but, you know, for some of you it can be love and romance as well. So I really feel that it is a decision that you have not taken lightly at all in order to bring the situation to a head, bring it to justice, to have that difficult conversation or whatever needs to happen in order to bring up this conversation of potentially ending this thing. Yeah, I don't think it's been a difficult decision, but I also think it's been an inevitable decision, and that you've had to arrive at that point, because we had the World card in the reading, which is, of course, final, very strong sense of finality. So some of you might still be, you know, trying to make that decision this week in order to bring this to justice, or to, you know, to bring it to completion. And if so, you know, the universe is saying yes strongly with the World card here. Because the World card says that not only is this an ending, but it is a final ending. So it's not something that you'll potentially rekindle or have another chapter of. The World says it's time to close the door on that situation. What you needed to learn has been learned. The karmic contract is complete. And it's time for that dancer to be in the flow of life and jump through that Saturnian hoop into her next chapter. And, you know, what I like about that is we were talking before about being in the flow of life and knowing when it is time to ebb and flow with the endings and not hold on, but to effortlessly say, okay, I can acknowledge with grace that it is time to let this lover go, this situation go, whatever it is, and then move into my next chapter where I know I'll have new challenges down the road, but this is exactly the pace I need to move at in order to evolve my soul. That's what I came here to do. You know, the World is the final card in the tarot that says that you've arrived at a completion of something that, as the magician, you as your own magic maker, at some stage potentially willed into existence and manifested because you knew that there was a lesson to be learned. But that has completed now. The magician's work is complete. So yeah, that's the World. It's a final chapter, guys. And it's really also a strong sense of victory. The World card is a victory card, as is Justice. So I see that this is the right time for you to bring this to a completion in order to, even though it might be hard, there might be some hurts and obviously reminiscing, and it's, you know, change is painful just because it's change. We all feel like that, I think, even if we know it's a positive thing. But, you know, you will look back on it and see that it's a good thing, and it's the right time to do it now in order to, even if you're going through those emotions, you will also, you know, really sense that feeling of victory as well. And what are you moving towards? Where's this Eight of Cups person heading towards? Well, it's all about forward motion after this completion. And I really feel like you're going to be in Knight of Pentacles mode. Now, Knight of Pentacles is somebody who is looking towards the future and slowly but surely and methodically laying new foundations, planting new seeds that the Knight of Pentacles knows that won't necessarily bring in the harvest right now, but they will in the next season, guys. So this is about you doing some planning, really thinking about what you want from your next chapter. You know, if this is in work for you and you're completely changing your career, you might want to upskill, maybe take a course of study, something like that. If you're looking for a new relationship, maybe doing some self-work, you know, clearing any hurts, pains, and letting go of baggage, you know, doing that kind of work before you go into your next one so that you can magnetize the kind of partner you truly deserve and desire towards you. The Knight of Pentacles, you know, he gets out there and does the hard work of this planting new seeds because he knows he will be rewarded. He knows that something solid will start to form and those pentacles will start to grow and expand. But what we need to keep in mind with the Knight of Pentacles is that it is a slow-moving energy. So this means that we're in just the initial stages of seeding our new opportunities, but we can't expect them to flourish and all of this to play out in the space of a week. But the promise is that it will, as long as you do your part, Saggy, and keep on planting those seeds, keep on nurturing them and watering them, keep moving in the right direction. Make sure you close the door on this situation and let go and surrender. Beautiful, very exciting. Okay, let's go to the Oracle cards just to close out, guys. I'm going to start with Inner Temple. Devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. You're being called to be a devoted student and tune into your heart, to incorporate true devotion into your life. You're being called to develop a regular meditation, journaling, or chanting practice, or to show up into your soul with rhythm, to develop a daily practice where you fill up your well and spend time with your soul. All of the answers to all of the questions that you seek are waiting in the portal of your heart, but you cannot hear them unless you carve out time each day to listen. Your soul is yearning for a deeper relationship for you, and so the more time you spend with it and show up, the more clearly it will guide you. Well, right there, guys, that's a really big indication to make sure that you're tuning into your intuitive centers, especially the heart space, because your own internal wisdom will guide you. You know the answers on how to move forward in this situation. So listen to the heart rather than the head this week. And we also had one other one that popped out, Sisterhood of the Rose. Beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. The Sisterhood of the Rose is a lineage of priestesses and mystics who devoted their lives to serving humanity and seeding light consciousness all over the earth. A cross-section of ancient lineages, it is the path of devotion and beauty. Walking this path means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. The rose symbolizes the heart and the sacred geometry, all of life. You are being called to notice the beauty around you, particularly in nature, and hear the whispers of Mother Earth. So again, the reference to the heart, guys, and also this beautiful notion of now moving into maybe more of the divine feminine and really unfolding like that rose. Maybe some of you have had to be in quite a state of contraction while you're going through this situation, maybe a lot of stress and tension in your body. Once this is ended and once this is cleared, you're really going to open up. You're going to be changed. You are going to be transformed. We have the Death card here, and I really feel like you're going to be opening up with a much more, a deeper sense of sensitivity, and more connected to your own intuitive centers. So really, really beautiful, guys. I do wish you all the best with what could be quite a major completion this week, coming to a head, or in the weeks either side of this reading. Do keep in mind it's a general reading, Saggy. It won't be for every one of you, but for those, you'll know if this is for you, because these are really, they're really intense energies. Feel free to leave me a comment. Always love to know how it's playing out in your daily life and who this resonates for, and I'll see you back here next week for another reading.